The laughter around the dinner table felt different that night, too loud, too forced, like everyone was pretending this moment would last forever. Tomorrow was supposed to be my engagement day. I had spent months planning every detail, the flowers, the song, the dress. It was supposed to be perfect. "Ethan," I said, smiling across the table, "are you nervous?" He laughed softly. "Maybe a little. You're terrifying when you plan things." Everyone chuckled, even my father. My mother reached over to pat my hand. "Our Iris always was the responsible one. You make me proud, sweetheart." For a second, I believed her. Then the door creaked open. Lena stood there, my younger sister, her hair messy, face pale, and eyes glistening with tears. She looked like she'd run through a storm. "Lena?" I rose from my seat. "What happened? Are you hurt?" She didn't answer. She just looked at Ethan. Her lip trembled. I can't keep this inside anymore." Mother stood, concerned. "Darling, what is it?" Lena's voice cracked. "It's Ethan. He forced himself on me." The room went silent. I didn't understand the words at first. My mind refused to shape them into meaning. What did you just say?" I whispered. She sobbed louder. I didn't want to tell anyone. But I couldn't live with it anymore. My father slammed his hand on the table. "Ethan Hale. Explain yourself." Ethan froze. His fork clattered onto the plate. He didn't even look at me. "Ethan," I said again, my voice breaking. "Tell them she's lying. Tell them you didn't," but he didn't. He just lowered his head. That silence was louder than any confession. I felt something inside me snap, like glass under pressure. Mother gasped, pressing a hand to her chest. "Oh, my lord," Father's voice shook. "You bring shame into my house, boy." "I didn't," Ethan finally said, but his voice faltered. "I didn't mean to, you didn't mean to." I repeated. My voice echoed. "You didn't mean to what, Ethan? Betray me? Sleep with my sister? Destroy everything?" Lena fell to her knees dramatically. I didn't want to ruin her life. I begged him to stop. "Stop lying," I shouted, slamming my hands on the table. "You think I don't know you, Lena? You always wanted what I had, my clothes, my friends, my chances. But this, enough." Father's voice boomed. "This is not the time for accusations." I turned to him, desperate. "You believe her? You actually believe this?" Mother avoided my eyes. Lena wouldn't lie about something like this. A laugh escaped me, broken, bitter. "Wouldn't she? You've seen her fake tears before. She cried when she broke a vase and blamed me for it when we were children, remember? You punished me for her lies then too." "Stop," Mother whispered. "This is different. It's the same." I cried. "Only this time, she's taken my life with it." Ethan reached toward me, his face pale. "Iris, please," I stepped back. "Don't you dare touch me." He flinched. I looked at Lena, trembling, weeping into her hands. I wanted to believe she was acting, but her performance was flawless. Even I began to doubt what I knew. My father rubbed his temples. "This family cannot afford a scandal. The engagement is off. Father, it's final." His voice left no room for argument. I felt dizzy. "You're destroying me for her lie." He didn't answer. Mother whispered, "We'll take care of Lena. You need to rest." "Rest?" I repeated, laughing bitterly. "You're sending me away like I'm the problem?" My mother's eyes softened. "You'll understand one day." "No," I said, voice shaking. "I understand perfectly now." I turned to Ethan. "You should have said something. Anything. But you stood there and watched me burn. Iris, please, he murmured. It was a mistake. Mistake? I repeated softly. You were my promise, Ethan. My safe place. And you threw me away because she cried. His eyes glistened, but I didn't care. Lena crawled closer to Mother. I never wanted this to happen, she sobbed. Stop pretending, I whispered. You wanted this more than anything. You always did. She didn't look at me. Father's voice broke the silence. We will settle this quietly. Tomorrow, Ethan will meet with me to discuss compensation. Compensation? I whispered. For what? My humiliation? He glared. For your sister's pain. My heart turned cold. Then consider this my last dinner here. I pushed my chair back and walked away. Mother called after me. Iris. Don't leave like this. I didn't stop. When I reached the hallway, my legs gave out. I clutched the wall, shaking, gasping for air. Everything inside me screamed. How could they believe her? How could he stay silent? The sound of footsteps came behind me. Ethan. Iris, please listen, he said softly. I stood, facing him. Why didn't you defend yourself? He hesitated. Your father said if I denied it, it would destroy your family's reputation. I thought silence would protect you. I laughed through tears. You thought silence would protect me? It killed me, Ethan. He reached for me again, and I slapped his hand away. You don't get to touch me. You already touched what mattered most. He winced. I didn't mean, don't say that again, I interrupted. You did mean it. You made a choice. He looked down. I'm sorry. Sorry won't change what you did, I said. You stood there while she cried, and everyone believed her. You could have ended it with one word. His voice broke. I was scared. So was I whispered. But I still would have fought for you. He had no answer. When I turned to leave, Lena appeared at the top of the stairs. Her face streaked with tears, but her eyes were calm. Too calm. Are you happy now? I asked quietly. She blinked innocently. I didn't want it to be this way. Then why is there a smile hiding behind your tears? Her lip twitched, just slightly. Mother came up behind her, wrapping her in a blanket. Enough, Iris. Go to your room. I'm not a child, I said. Then act like one. Father barked. Show some decency. Your sister is suffering. Suffering? I whispered. She's winning. I didn't wait for their reply. That night, I sat alone in my room. The walls felt smaller, the air heavier. I could still hear their voices downstairs, comforting her, calling her brave. Brave. For what? For destroying me? I stared at my engagement ring lying on the table. Its diamond glimmered under the lamp, mocking me. I picked it up and whispered, "You belong to a lie." A knock came at the door. Mother entered quietly. Iris, we need to talk. I didn't look at her. Don't tell me to forgive them. I'm asking you to let this go. For everyone's sake. I turned slowly. Everyone's? Or hers? She sighed. Your sister's. You'll understand when you're older. I smiled faintly. I think I finally do understand. She frowned. What do you mean? I looked her straight in the eyes. You never wanted me to shine too brightly. It made her fade. You protected her envy all her life, even now. Her face tightened. That's enough. I shrugged. You can't silence the truth forever. She left, slamming the door behind her. The silence that followed was colder than the night outside. I walked to the window, staring at the moonlight spilling over the garden, the same garden where Ethan had once promised forever. Forever, I whispered. How fragile that word is. My reflection in the glass looked different, tired, broken, but strangely awake. For the first time, I saw the world without its soft colors. They'd taken everything, my love, my name, my place in this house. But as I watched the faint glow of candles flickering downstairs, I realized something. Lena's tears hadn't been tears of sorrow. They were tears of victory. And I was her prize. Not anymore.
Sign it, Father said. His tone was flat, final. I stared at the marriage document on the table. You can't be serious. It's for your protection, Mother whispered. People are talking. This will quiet them. Protection? I laughed bitterly. Or punishment? Father's jaw tightened. Chief Adrian Reese has agreed to take responsibility for you. Few men would, after what happened. After what they think happened, I corrected. He ignored me. Mother touched my arm gently. You'll live in comfort. He's powerful. You'll be safe. Safe? I said. From what? The truth? She flinched. From shame. I looked at both of them, the people who were supposed to protect me. You're selling me off to wash away gossip. Father's voice rose. Enough, Iris. You will do as I say. This family cannot survive another scandal. I met his eyes. Then maybe it shouldn't. He slammed his fist on the table. Sign it. The sound echoed like a gunshot. My hand trembled as I picked up the pen. My name looked foreign when I wrote it, Iris Vallon, a name no longer mine. When I finished, he snatched the paper. You'll leave at dawn. The carriage ride was silent except for the creak of wheels and my mother's quiet sniffles. Say something, I murmured. She shook her head. Don't make this harder. It's already harder than breathing. When we reached the village of Reesmore, people stared as if I carried a disease. Whispers trailed behind me. That's her, someone muttered. The fallen one. Poor chief, another said. Forced to marry her. I clenched my fists. Mother kept her eyes low. Ignore them. I'd rather burn their words than swallow them, I said. She sighed. Promise me you'll try to be a good wife. I'll try to survive, I answered. The house was more fortress than home, stone walls, silent halls, cold air. A tall man waited near the entrance, his eyes unreadable. Chief Adrian Reese, Mother greeted stiffly. He nodded once. Mrs. Vallon. Then his gaze landed on me. So, you're Iris. I suppose I am, I said quietly. He didn't smile. Follow me. Mother whispered, goodbye, dear, but I didn't turn around. Adrian led me through dim corridors until we reached a room. This will be yours. I looked around, plain bed, empty shelves, one window. A lovely cell. He didn't respond. You don't have to pretend, I said. I know this marriage wasn't your choice either. He folded his arms. You think I care enough to pretend? His words stung, but I refused to show it. No. You don't seem the type. He looked at me for a long moment. Dinner is at 7. Be punctual. I might lose track of time counting the cracks in my new prison. His eyes flickered, almost amusement, quickly gone. Then start counting early. He left without another word. That night, I sat alone at the table. Adrian ate across from me, silent. 2 servants placed dishes between us, roasted meat, bread, and silence. Do you always eat like this? I asked finally. Like what? Like you're at a funeral. He sipped his wine. Depends who I'm dining with. Ah, I said, so I'm the corpse. His lips almost twitched. You talk too much. I've been quiet for weeks, I replied. Silence feels heavier than words. He looked up, meeting my eyes. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? A broken woman. I cut the bread slowly. Maybe I am. I'm just good at hiding the cracks. He didn't answer, but for a moment, I thought I saw something soften in his gaze. Then he stood abruptly. Eat. You'll need strength. For what? To survive here. He walked out, leaving me alone with food I couldn't taste. The next morning, the whispers started again. Servants talking in corners, villagers murmuring outside the gates. She bewitched him, they say, one whispered. No, he pitied her, another replied. He always did love broken things. I wanted to scream. Instead, I took an old notebook from my bag and began writing, *Day 1, they buried me under their pity. But roots grow best in dirt, *A knock came at the door. It was Aunt Mirren, the chief's aunt, I later learned. Her silver hair framed kind eyes. You must be Iris, she said. I'm here to make sure you don't starve yourself from pride. I'm not proud, I said. Just tired. She smiled faintly. Tiredness fades. Pride doesn't. Eat anyway. I nodded. Thank you. Before leaving, she said softly, the chief isn't as cruel as he seems. He just forgets how to speak to people. I almost laughed. So, he speaks in insults instead? She chuckled. Sometimes silence says more. Later that week, I followed Adrian to a village council meeting. He didn't ask me to come, I just refused to stay hidden. As we entered the hall, the villagers' eyes burned through me. Elder Darren sneered. Chief, your wife joins us today? How brave. Adrian's tone was cold. Is there a problem, Elder? Not at all, Darren said. We simply didn't expect the lady to recover so quickly from her recent misfortunes. I felt my blood boil. My recovery wasn't your concern then. It isn't now. The room fell silent. Darren smirked. A sharp tongue for someone with such a reputation. Before I could respond, Adrian's voice cut through the air, low, firm, and dangerous. That's enough. Darren blinked. I meant no disrespect. Then choose your words more carefully, Adrian said. My wife's name will not be used for your amusement. The word wife hit me like a stone. I looked at him, shocked. For the first time, I saw something behind his coldness, a quiet defense, not for duty but decency. When we left the hall, I walked beside him. You didn't have to do that. He kept his gaze forward. He overstepped. Still, I said, thank you. He didn't answer. After a pause, I added, you surprise me. Don't get used to it, he said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, moonlight spilling across the floor, notebook open. Day 7, the whispers haven't stopped. But neither have I. I heard footsteps outside and hid the notebook quickly. Adrian appeared in the doorway. You're awake, he said. I could say the same to you. He leaned against the frame. Can't sleep either. Too many ghosts? Too many memories, he replied quietly. For a moment, the cold chief looked almost human. Do memories ever stop hurting? I asked. No, he said. You just learn to live around them. I nodded slowly. Then I guess I'll learn too. He studied me for a long moment, then turned away. Good night, Iris. Good night, Chief. He paused. Adrian is fine. When he left, I smiled faintly to myself, the first real smile in weeks. Days turned into weeks. The villagers still whispered, but I no longer cared. I worked in the garden, spoke to Aunt Mirren, ignored Darren's stares, and wrote every night. One evening, I overheard two servants outside the kitchen. She walks like she owns the place now, one said. Maybe she does, the other replied. The chief doesn't stop her. I stepped out from behind the wall. You could just ask me instead of whispering. They froze. I smiled sweetly. And yes, I do own my place. I earned it. When they scattered, I turned to see Adrian standing behind me, expression unreadable. You enjoy scaring people? He asked. Only the ones who forget I can speak. He nodded slightly, a ghost of approval in his eyes. Good. That single word, good, felt like a door cracking open. That night, I wrote my final line before blowing out the candle. If they think they buried me, they'll soon learn I was the seed, and for the first time since that night of betrayal, I believed it. You've changed, Adrian said, his voice low but sharp, like flint striking steel. I didn't look up from the ledger. You say that as if it's a bad thing. He crossed his arms, standing by the open door. It's unexpected. Unexpected? I smirked faintly. Because you thought I'd keep crying forever? He said nothing. Silence stretched between us, heavy with everything we hadn't said since that night, the night I was forced into this life. Aunt Mirren's voice broke the moment. Numbers don't lie, child. If you can balance this column, you can balance your fate. I'm trying, I murmured, brushing the ink off my fingers. Though I doubt balancing ledgers will change what people whisper about me. Aunt Mirren chuckled. Let them whisper. The day they stop, you've become invisible. She patted my hand. Finish up. The council meets at dusk. Council? I frowned. I wasn't told. You'll see, she said with a glint in her eye. You've got more to say than you think. Later that afternoon, Clara burst through my door, breathless. Mrs. Reese, just Iris, I said, closing the ledger. What's wrong? She hesitated, clutching a folded paper. You need to see this. I took it, scanning the elegant handwriting that twisted my stomach into knots. Authorization to transfer ownership of Eastvale Estate to Lena Alcott and Ethan Hale. Signed, Iris Reese. My hands trembled. Where did you get this? I overheard them in the market, Clara whispered. Elder Darren approved it yesterday. Said your signature was enough. I laughed bitterly. My signature? That's not even my handwriting. Then they forged it. I sank into the chair, my heart pounding in my ears. She took my fiancé. My reputation. And now she wants my father's land. Clara leaned closer. What will you do? I looked up, the paper crumpling in my fist. What I should have done months ago. The council hall smelled of smoke and damp stone. Villagers filled the benches, murmuring as I entered beside Adrian. Elder Darren sat in the center, smug as a cat. Mrs. Reese. I trust you've come to resolve this estate transfer matter. I kept my voice calm. That depends on what you call resolution. He laughed. Your signature is right here. It's official. Then you won't mind if I read it aloud, I said, holding up the paper. Since it bears my name. Whispers rippled through the room. I began to read, slowly. Authorization to transfer Eastvale Estate to Lena Alcott and Ethan Hale. The moment I reached the end, I dropped the act. Except I never signed this. Gasps echoed. Darren scowled. Are you accusing the council of fraud? I'm accusing my sister of theft, I said. And anyone who helped her, of corruption. Careful, Mrs. Reese, he sneered. These are strong words. So are mine, I said. And I can prove it. I pulled another document from my satchel, one of my old journals. This is my handwriting. Notice the difference? The villagers leaned forward. Even Adrian watched me, his expression unreadable. Elder Darren, I continued, stepping closer, you approved a transfer based on a forged document. You failed to verify the truth. Either you were bribed, or you're incompetent. Which is it? The old man's face turned red. You insolent woman, Adrian's voice cut through the tension. Enough. Everyone froze. He rose from his seat. If what she says is true, we will investigate. Effective immediately. His gaze flicked to me. You'll hand the documents to me. I nodded, handing them over. My fingers brushed his briefly, his skin cold, steady, unshaken. When the crowd began to disperse, Clara grinned from the doorway, eyes shining with pride. Aunt Mirren stood beside her, arms crossed. "You did well," she said softly. "Your father would have been proud." "Pride doesn't bring back what I lost," I said. "No," she agreed. "But it builds what comes next." Outside, the night air bit against my skin. I started walking back toward the manor, but Adrian followed me. "You didn't tell me you planned this," he said. "I didn't plan to. I just reacted." He studied me for a long moment. Reactions like that can burn empires. Then maybe they deserve to burn. He almost smiled. "You're not the woman they said you were." I looked at him. And who did they say I was? Fragile. Naive. Lost. I admitted. But not anymore. We stood there in silence, the wind carrying the faint scent of wood smoke. For the first time, I saw something flicker in his eyes, not pity, not judgment, but recognition. "Go inside," he said finally. "You've made enough noise for one night." I couldn't help a small smile. "You're welcome." He gave a soft huff of laughter and turned away. As I watched him disappear into the dark, I whispered to myself, if they think they buried me, they'll soon learn I was the seed. And for the first time in months, I believed it. The first time I heard the rumors, I almost laughed. "Did you hear?" Clara whispered as she set tea on my desk. "Ethan Hale lost his business. The merchants pulled their contracts." I didn't look up. "And Lena?" "Her name's in every whisper. They say she forged documents to get the estate. The council's investigating." I stirred my tea slowly. So karma didn't forget her after all. Clara hesitated. "Do you feel sorry for her?" "No," I placed the spoon down. "I just feel finished." By midday, the manor buzzed with noise. Aunt Mirren came in shaking her head. "The girl's at the gate. Crying like the day she stole your life." I stood up. "Let her in." Aunt Mirren frowned. "You sure?" "Yes," I said quietly. "It's time she looked me in the eyes again." Lena stumbled into the hall like a ghost of herself, makeup smeared, hair tangled, voice trembling. "Iris, please." Her words cracked. "They're destroying me. Ethan's gone. He said I ruined him." "I didn't mean for any of this, didn't mean?" I cut her off. "You lied, forged, and framed me, Lena. You meant every step." "I was scared," she shouted. "You always had everything, father's love, Ethan's heart, everyone's praise. I just wanted something that was mine." "And you thought stealing mine would fix that?" I asked, my tone calm, almost gentle. Tears streamed down her face. "Please, talk to Adrian. He's leading the investigation. He'll listen to you. He trusts you." I met her eyes. "You think trust is something that can be borrowed, like a dress? You taught me otherwise." She fell to her knees. "I'll lose everything, Iris. My reputation, my home." I crouched down so we were face to face. "You already lost something far greater, your soul. You traded it the night you cried in front of everyone and watched me break." Her lip quivered. "You hate me." "No," I said softly. "I outgrew you." She froze, blinking through tears. "You ruined me," she spat suddenly, voice turning sharp, bitter. I smiled faintly. "No, Lena. You ruined yourself." She slapped me. The sound echoed. I didn't flinch. I just straightened, turned, and called out, "Aunt Mirren, please see my sister out." Lena screamed as she was pulled away. "You'll regret this." "I'll make you regret it." Her words bounced off the walls like hollow threats. I didn't answer. That night, the rain came hard, thrashing against the windows. Adrian knocked once and entered. "She came to see me too," he said. "I know. She begged me to drop the charges." "And did you?" He looked at me, eyes dark under the flickering candlelight. No, for a while, there was only the sound of rain. You don't look surprised, he said finally. I'm not. People like her think tears can erase sin. He moved closer. You've changed again. I smirked slightly. You say that every few months. This time, he said, it's different. I leaned back against the desk. How? You're not surviving anymore, Iris. You're living. Something in his voice made my chest tighten. Living doesn't mean forgetting, I whispered. I know. He hesitated, then added, I lost someone once too. To betrayal. My breath caught. You? He nodded. My brother. He stole everything I built. Left me nothing but this position and a hollow name. Did you ever forgive him? He looked at me for a long moment. No. But I learned that revenge doesn't heal, it only empties you further. I turned toward the window, watching the water streak the glass. Then maybe I'm finally full again. He stepped closer, his voice softer now. You handled her better than I would have. I didn't do anything, I said. I just stood still and let her face what she created. That's strength, he murmured. I met his gaze. It doesn't feel like it. It just feels quiet. Quiet, he said, is what peace sounds like. I didn't realize how close he was until our hands brushed on the desk. His touch wasn't commanding like before, it was careful, almost reverent. Adrian, I whispered. He didn't move away. You don't have to be afraid anymore. I'm not, I said. But I'm still learning how not to be angry. He gave a faint smile. That's harder than it sounds. It's exhausting, I admitted. But tonight, when she begged, I felt nothing. No hate, no rage. Just stillness. That's how you know karma's already done its work, he said. I turned back to him, studying the man I once feared. Do you ever wonder, I asked softly, why pain brings strangers together faster than love does? He exhaled, a bitter laugh slipping through. Because pain tells the truth. Love tries to hide it. I didn't answer. My heart was beating too loudly for words. When he reached for my hand again, I didn't pull away this time. The rain outside softened to a whisper. The storm had finally passed. Later, as I wrote in my journal, the ink bled faintly under the candlelight. Asterisk, they said I'd break. That no woman could survive what I did. But tonight, I realized something, strength isn't loud. It's the silence after the storm, when you no longer need revenge to feel whole. Asterisk, a knock came again. Adrian's voice through the door, you should rest. I smiled to myself. Good night, Adrian. Good night, Iris. When I blew out the candle, the darkness didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like peace, the kind earned, not given. Karma had knocked. And I had answered, not with fury, but with grace. They said she screamed through the night. I didn't go to see her. I just listened from my window as the whispers floated through the streets. Lena Alcott's lost her mind, she's leaving town at dawn, her fiancé is gone, her name's ruined. Do you want me to close the shutters? Clara asked softly. No, I said. Let the air in. It smells like freedom tonight. She hesitated. You don't seem happy. I'm not sure happiness is the word, I murmured. It's something quieter. Like peace. By morning, Lena was gone. Aunt Mirren came in with the news. They say she left on the East Road. No carriage. Just a satchel. I poured tea carefully. Then she's finally carrying her own weight. She'll have to face herself now, Aunt Mirren said. That's a harder punishment than anything we could have done. I know. I stared into my cup, the steam curling like a ghost of the past. She's haunted enough by her reflection. She doesn't need mine. Aunt Mirren's gaze softened. And you? What will you do now that you're free? I smiled faintly. Live. The festival lights painted the village gold that evening. Laughter echoed from every corner, music carried on the breeze. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a shadow passing through other people's joy. Didn't think you'd come, Adrian said, appearing beside me. His voice always sounded steadier under lantern light. I almost didn't, I admitted. Crowds make me nervous now. Understandable, he said. You've had enough eyes on you to last a lifetime. I laughed quietly. True. He handed me a paper lantern. Write something on it. I raised a brow. A wish? Or a goodbye? I hesitated, then wrote one word, freedom. He watched me tie the string, his expression unreadable. You've changed more than anyone I've known. You keep saying that, I teased. Because it keeps being true, he said. I smiled. What about you, Chief Reese? Have you changed? He looked away, then back at me. Yes. I stopped believing that solitude is strength. His words hit deeper than I expected. And what do you believe now? That peace doesn't come from being alone, he said softly. It comes from being understood. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The world around us blurred, music, laughter, fireworks, all fading into something distant and gentle. Adrian, I said quietly, I don't know what this is between us. You don't have to, he replied. Not yet. Just let it exist. I nodded. That, I can do. Later that night, I went to the storeroom. The old chest sat where I'd left it, untouched since the day everything ended. Inside lay my engagement dress. White silk, embroidered with promises that had long burned away. When I pulled it out, the fabric caught the light, fragile, ghostly, still smelling faintly of roses. Beautiful, isn't it? Aunt Mirren said from the doorway. It was, I said. But not anymore. I carried it outside, to the small fire pit behind the manor. The wind was cold against my face. I dropped the dress in and struck a match. The flame caught slowly, then devoured quickly, white turning to orange, orange to ash. Goodbye, I whispered. Adrian's voice came from behind me. Letting go? Yes, I said. Of her. Of who I was. He stepped beside me, the firelight dancing across his face. Does it hurt? Less than I thought, I said. It feels like breathing again. He nodded. Then don't look back. I won't. We stood there in silence until the last of the silk turned black. The next morning, the village buzzed again, but this time, not with scandal. With life. Clara waved from the market stalls. Mrs. Reese. Try the sweet rolls. Just Iris, I reminded her, laughing. Always just Iris. As I turned toward the river, a familiar voice froze me in place. Iris. Ethan stood there, older, thinner, eyes filled with regret. Ethan, I said simply. He swallowed hard. I came to say, I'm sorry. For everything. For believing her. For not fighting for you. I tilted my head slightly. Sorry doesn't undo what's been done. I know, he said. But I had to tell you. I see now what I lost. I smiled faintly. No, Ethan. You lost what you never valued. He flinched. You hate me. I don't, I said. I just don't care anymore. He looked like he wanted to say more, but I stepped past him, my voice calm. Take care of yourself. That's the best apology you can give. He didn't follow. As I walked away, the world felt brighter, the road beneath my feet lighter. That evening, I sat by the balcony with my journal. Adrian joined me quietly, setting a cup of tea beside me. Writing again? He asked. Yes, I said. About endings. He leaned on the railing.